You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, a City Mount Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir, Leigh's Path. So these two lovebirds are deciding to maybe give stuff a shot with each other, so we'll see how it develops. Leigh is a very damaged possum, and it's going to take some more chipping away at that wall to get to that ooey gooey surface underneath. So let's go ahead and jump right in, shall we? Alright, after everything we just did in the nightclub, touching him here doesn't feel as awkward as it did before. It doesn't even tense up as I do it, but that doesn't stop my heart rate from spiking. And from what I can feel coming from him, it sounds like he just ran a marathon with how much it's pounding away. But neither of us says anything as we walk back from the house. The streets are filled with people, but most of them are just students enjoying their weekend now. It doesn't take us long before we get off the main road and onto one of those quiet side streets. It should feel more eerie, but it's hard to feel scared. If anything, I just feel exhausted. I can't tell if it's from the dancing or the adrenaline wearing off. Tired? I didn't realize dancing could be so exhausting. It's a good workout. You should try it more. I do love music. I think I could get into that. But you'd have to teach me. Deal. Things truly calmed down between us by the time we made it back to Leigh's apartment. There's still a bit of tension, but it's nowhere near the blow-up we just had. I can't help but feel like it was a good thing, though. It felt good, and not just because it was with Leigh. The last time I'd gotten into an argument with someone like that has been years. After Marcus died, I isolated myself away and rarely spent much time around anyone. It's almost cathartic in a way, to fight and argue with someone that you care about. I can't tell what's going through Leigh's head, but he'd occasionally catch my eyes and hesitate before looking away. I can't tell what that's supposed to mean. We're outside of his door by the time I'm able to get the courage to finally address everything. Leigh said we'd talk about it later, but I don't think he'd want us bringing the drama into his home. Huh? Leigh just tried to unlock the door, but the moment his hand grabbed the handle, it gave way and opened up. It's unlocked, and from the confusion on Leigh's face, this isn't normal. He hastily pushes inside, and I'm left darting after him, nearly smacking into the door along the way, but Leigh doesn't even take notice as he shouts out in panic. Charlie? Charlotte, where? I nearly slam into him as he stops, barely managing to catch myself on the edge of the kitchen counter to see what's been going on. I'd expected the absolute worst, but what I didn't expect to see was Charlie sitting on one of the sofas staring into the distance as she holds something in her lap. It takes me a moment before I'm able to make out that it's an envelope that's been torn open and their contents likely read. For a moment, I thought that she couldn't see us, but she looks over to Leigh with such contempt. I worried that they might get into a fight then and there. But they don't. Leigh just walks over and sits next to her, putting a reasonable distance between the two of them. Whatever's going on, it's clear that he knows what he's doing. It would be best if I just stayed out of the way. You okay? What happened? She doesn't say anything and just hands him the letter. He hesitates for a moment, clearly wanting to check in on her before reading whatever mail they'd gotten, but he must have figured it would be easier to start with. He sits there for nearly half a minute reading before Charlie interrupts him, telling him the gist of what it says. It's about Dad. He's dead. A fucking car crash, can you believe it? Oh, Lord. 1 second now. Oh, boy. Well, that just added another layer of trauma on top of everything. After fucking everything he put us through, he just drinks and drives one time and suddenly it's all fucking over? That's it? Watching Charlie yelling at Leigh suddenly makes me feel like I'm intruding on something I shouldn't be here for. So I'm forced to awkwardly stand behind the empty sofa. I bet this song is probably copyright. Just lower it quite a bit. Okay. Leigh's just ignoring her and continuing to read the letter. All emotion is drained from his face, and he's just looking down at the letter with a blank stare on his face. Ash, say something! Charlotte. Don't Charlotte me! Don't patronize me! Sorry, you know I didn't mean it like that. How do you mean it then? You're not gonna say we're going to the funeral, right? Of course not. So what's the problem then? Shouldn't we be celebrating? He's gone forever! He was already gone. We hadn't heard from him in years. What? Are you sad that he's dead? Really? After everything he did to us, to you! You're telling me that you're still sad that piece of shit's gone? He wasn't... I'm not listening to you try to defend him. She didn't even wait for him to say anything else as she stormed over to her door, not acknowledging my presence a single time. I can see that her eyes were red and glassy, but she's managed to hold back any tears. She doesn't disappear into her room. Not right away, at least. She looks back at Leigh, who's now staring at the ground where the letter fell, with a torn expression. Just forget it. I'll see you tomorrow. Don't wake me up when you fuck your boyfriend. There's none of that teasing tone that she normally has, but I can tell she doesn't hold any resentment to me. It was just a cruel sentence to stab at Leigh, and if the wince he made is any indication, it hit. She closed the door with a loud thud that echoes throughout the room, and I can only hope none of the neighbors were asleep. It might be the weekend, but it's still close to 10. We don't say anything as Leigh picks back up the letter off the floor. He stares at it for a few moments longer before tossing it onto the kitchen bench with a sigh. You don't have to stand over there. You can come in. She's not upset at you. She loves you. I don't know if she cares about me that much. We've only known each other a few days. So we have, but that didn't stop us. It was the first real acknowledgement we had about what happened, but it's still just dipping his toes into the water, so I can tell that this isn't the time to push further. What happened? Your dad died? Right? You don't have to tell me if it makes you uncomfortable. It's okay. I've been meaning to talk to you about it sometime soon. Now's as good of a time as any. You might want to sit down. You've been on your feet all day. I bet your legs are killing you. Now that he mentions it, my legs are aching pretty bad. Not only did Lily and Charlie drag me around all day, but we just danced for hours before walking home. There you know. I'm surprised I can still stand. I haven't been very active since middle school, and I haven't had that much exercise since gym class back in high school. Collapsing onto the free couch in front of me, Leigh comes to sit next to me, placing an arm around my shoulder in the process. I thought it might have been for my comfort, but looking at his face, it's clear that he's the one searching for comfort. This must not be an easy topic for him to talk about, and I'm glad he's leaning on me for once. My dad was an awful man. He rarely took care of us at all. He'd spend all his day at work and then come home drunk from a night with his friends or sit in front of the TV. He wouldn't cook us dinner, nor would he acknowledge us unless he was in a bad mood. Those days were always the hardest. I was able to protect Charlie from the worst of it and gave her as good of a childhood as I could, but she still saw the things that went down. But you're sad that he's dead. It's complicated. He may have been an asshole piece of shit, but he was still my father. Charlie might remember all the bad times, but she doesn't remember when things weren't so bad. What do you mean? Before our mother died, he used to be a great dad. He would take us out for ice cream every Saturday, and he taught me how to fix a car. We'd do everything as a family back then, but then she got sick and died. She'd been a cancer survivor and relapsed. It had been a hard year, but she died when he wasn't the same after that. It started with just drinking. I'd been 12 or 13 then. It wasn't so bad, not really. He was drunk every night, but at least he ignored us. Then he began to get angry. The house got a lot worse after that, but we got out of there and he'd let us go, never contacted us again. I'd be surprised if he forgot us. Despite his best efforts, sadness trickled into his voice, contrasting heavily against how composed he looks. Charlie's right. I should be glad he's gone. He's a bad person who did bad things, but I can't help but still remember the days when things weren't so bad. It makes him hard to completely despise him. I don't think it's wrong for you to think that way. Really? Just because someone became a bad person, it doesn't mean you can't miss how things used to be. I know I do. He didn't respond to that, but I can tell he's deep in his thoughts. It doesn't look like he expected me to agree with him. We stay like that for several minutes before he shifts around, forcing me to lean away from him as he pulls his legs onto the sofa, causing him to face me. Huh? But I'm not able to get the word out as he latches onto me again and pulls me against him, my back pressing against his chest and stomach, similar to how he'd been dancing just before. Except this time he wraps both his arms and legs around me, making himself into a cocoon around me. Even his head is resting on top of my own. It's something so casual but so intimate at the same time. The warmth is almost overwhelming, and all I can smell is his scent without the smell of the club's alcohol overwhelming it. His usual motor oil smell is completely gone, replaced with his personal scent alongside some flowery perfume that I can only assume belongs to Charlie. Oh! Thanks for listening. It's nothing, really. It's what friends do, right? You two are a little bit more than friends. I can say that confidently. His chuckle vibrates through my whole body, and the sensation is strange enough that I can't help but giggle alongside him. Oscar's right. You are cute. I don't try to be. I know, but you just are. I've been unfair on you. What do you mean? I've just been seeing you the way I wanted to, even if it wasn't true. You're not just some kid. Leigh. I still think you're a little too naive and much too trusting for your own good. You don't take care of yourself at all. And you stick your nose where it didn't belong, even if it was a bad idea. Hey! And you'd always get on my case about what I'm doing, even if it didn't concern you at all. Well, that's just how you are, isn't it? Maybe that's why I began feeling the way I did. Wait, what? I can feel my heart racing in my chest, and the thundering is so loud that I'm worried I might miss what he says next. No matter how much I tried not to, you'd always just keep surprising me, and I found that exciting. And before I realized it, you kept catching my eye in another way. But I wasn't worried. I could just ignore it. Then you started showing interest in me too, and everything got so much harder. I was just being me. I guess that means you did damn good then. We fell back into silence again as we let that revelation sit between us. He hadn't directly said it, but it was still an admission nonetheless, an acknowledgement of the tension between us. Does that mean we could be boyfriends? I don't know, kid. Shit, Wallace. It's okay. I know you mean it as a term of endearment. There you go again, surprising me. I truly haven't been giving you enough credit. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if dating is the best idea. I begin to interrupt him, but he nuzzles his nose back against the back of my neck, making me yelp in surprise instead. But I might be willing to give it a try. Really? Might. I might be. Things are a fucking mess right now, and I don't just mean this shit with my dad. That's the least of my problems. But you're wanting this too, right? Yeah, yes, I have been. I think everyone's been expecting us to. I know, Charlie's been on my ass about it the entire week. Was it true that you had a crush on me even back then? I don't think I'd call it a crush, but she held my attention. I guess she saw an opportunity and pounced on it. Lily noticed it pretty quickly and said she knew that you returned my feelings too. Of course she did. I'm guessing you talked to her about it? Just to try and get my feelings straight. Has been a confusing time. I should have known she was a gossip. I'm glad she told me. It helped me find the courage to take the step forward. Oscar did too. Don't look so surprised. He gave me advice and everything. I can only imagine what that was. It wasn't what you'd expect. Most of it was telling me to make sure I was relaxed and into it because of if I was, you'd be too. Looks like I don't give any of you enough credit. So where do we stand? We'll just continue with how things are going as it is. I fucked around a lot when I was younger, but never something as committed as a boyfriend. I think taking it slow is the best. I know that I'm interested, even if it's just still a little strange. I'll take it. Getting all excited over this isn't helping your case. Huh? I'm kidding. You're very adorable when you get excited. I wouldn't want you to stop that for anything, not even me. Well, that goes both ways, okay? What do you mean? The side that you showed me today. I loved seeing it like you like that too. I really hope you don't feel the need to hide it away. I know how you are as a part of you too, and I love that part of you as well. I just love seeing both parts of you. Wallace. I mean it. I know you do. As if to prove his point, he leans down and nuzzles my cheek. It's an affectionate gesture, and it isn't as intimate of a one as I'm hoping, and I can tell from the yearning in his eyes that he wants more, too. We both understand that we're taking our time for now, and we don't need to rush things just yet. I think it's time we get some sleep. I want us to get up early for something if that's okay with you. Oh, sure, should I gesture over to the free couch and try to slide out of Leigh's grip, but he doesn't budge. In fact, he just pulls me tighter against him. Do you think you could sleep with me again tonight? I like feeling your body against me. Sure, I think. I think I'd like that a lot as well. It doesn't take long for Leigh to pull the blanket that had been stretched out over the back of the sofa and lay it over us. He never let me out of his grasp the entire time, even as we shift down to a more comfortable sleeping position, but soon enough we're on our side as Leigh continues to spoon me. But I can't complain about it. It's everything I've been wanting, and seeing this more aggressive side of Leigh always gets my heart racing in the best of ways. Alright, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for what I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silver, and thank you going above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks to our 3 gold tier patrons, Zeke, Toby, and Blue Wolf Alpha. Y'all are awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to Ultimate Tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!